Welcome everybody to ESC Fan TV. It's a Sunday night, which can mean only one thing. You're tuned in to hear about the Melodifestivalen. Shit, that was last week. Semi-final 4. That's right. Tonight it's all about the final 7 entries in this year's Swedish national final. And we've had some absolute crackers this week. And we're going to get into all of that shortly. And our panel are going to tell you what their favourites are and which two they felt should have progressed. And also which two should have gone through to Andra Chansen, of course. Guys, thanks for joining us this evening. For those in the chat room, you can vote along. You can vote for your favourite songs of last night. And you do that through the old way of using menti.com and the code 8232780. That's menti.com 8232780 and 0. Before we kind of get into it, I think it's time we meet our panel. Let's start with Tom. Tom, good to see you this evening.
Hey Stu, good to see you. Yes, I'm in the chat room this evening. Looking forward to speaking to lots of people who are already there as well. Already good evening to John Boy, to Neil, to Little John, and to Anya. And hello to everyone else as well.
Thank you very much, Tom. Keep your questions and comments coming in. We'll put them up on screen as everyone starts to join. And it very much is Melodifestivalen. And by the way, not Melody Grand Prix, in case you are now confused. So we're going to start with a song that we believe, because we don't know for sure, finished 7th last night. And that was Sannex with All Inclusive. So yeah, Sannex, there we go. Let's put them on screen so we can remind ourselves. Dance band Sannex won the 2017 Swedish Grammy Award for Dance Band of the Year. Last night they performed All Inclusive, which is all about holidays that actually we can't have right now. I mean, that's a nice way to remind ourselves that we all stuck in lockdown, isn't it? But they love the song. What did our panel think of the song? Let's go to Jeanette first. We've got to go to our resident Swedes. Let's find out what Jeanette thought of this particular song. Jeanette, take it away.
Hello everybody. So to sum this up, Sannex, it was absolute crap. I feel embarrassed to be Swedish and listening to this kind of music. It was 3 minutes of pure hell for me watching it and listening to the bad rhymes, that the lyrics that they had in this song. It was so bad, I can't imagine anything worse. And that's all I have to say about it.
But this
0 points.
Thanks, Jeanette. Just the way we want to start the show off.
Well,
this was supposed to be
better.
Humorous song, and clearly the audience in Sweden didn't get it. Let's go to Marius. Marius, did you find humor in this one?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Coming in loud and clear from Cyprus. Welcome to the show, Marius.
Okay, because my thing just went, I think it froze. Hi guys, how you doing? Right, now where do I start with this? Melodifestivalen this year was very underwhelming. I think most of the songs this year didn't impress me. Now, this song really annoyed me. This shouldn't even been last night in the final lineup. This is just Benny Dorm, and it was just annoying. Had nothing to offer. Just as you said, it's about holidays. We dream of holidays these days, but we can't go on holiday. So it's like they were rubbing it in our face. And,
you don't want to go with them anyway. Look at them. Ugh.
Exactly. And I think, as you said, it definitely came last. And this was a travesty. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry that they actually went on stage last night. Sorry.
So I found quite surprising about this. I'm going to bring Alice in. Alice, welcome to the show, and also welcome to ESC Fan TV, very first show this evening.
Thank you very much.
What I found so surprising about this is Sannex are reasonably well known in Sweden, aren't they? I'm looking over the other corner to the Swedish panel tonight. You're gonna, yes, no. They are reasonably well known, aren't they? Yeah, exactly. Kinda well known. It's a bit of a surprise for me that they failed to at least make the top 5. Why did you feel that they fell short last night?
Oh, me?
Yeah, sorry, Alice. Yeah, that was directed at you.
I thought you were talking to the Swedes guys. Sorry, yeah. I really don't know. I think I really enjoyed it. I wanted it to go to Andra Chansen. So I was quite into it really myself. I don't really. Again, I'm not Swedish, so I don't know the sort of vibe the Swedish public were having to it. But obviously, they really didn't like it.
Yeah, not a fan, and clearly the Swedish public also agree. Tom, I'm going to come to you for this, and also want the chat room's view. Was an all-inclusive holiday song just kind of mistimed with the audience, given that we're all stuck in lockdown and unlikely to see holidays until at least the end of the summer?
The thing is, Stu, I think this is a very British reference, and I do apologise for those that may not have seen it. We had Sannex, but where was Madge? Where was Mick? Where was Janice? Yes, we wanted the Garbies from Benidorm, because this is exactly what we wanted. This is a song that you'd have played in a British Spanish bar on the Costa del Sol. Let's face it, this was brilliant. This had everything you could want. Total cheese, total nap holiday humour. If anything, you know, it put a smile on your face and a drop of joy in your heart. And surely that is what some of these songs need to be about at the moment in lockdown. Yes, we can't go on a holiday, but they just reminded us just of how many naff all-inclusive holidays there are out there just by the staging. And as little John said in the chat room, must admit, if I'd have booked that holiday, I'd have wanted a refund. There we go.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite captured everyone's imagination. I think it's probably time we move on, Tom. Let's move on to the 6th placed song, and that was Lovad. I must admit, I'm a bit of a fan of this. I thought this was wonderful. Allting, precis, likadant, which translates as everything is exactly the same. Upcoming singer Lovad, also known as Lova is made her debut last night in Melodifestivalen. Recently duetted with Melfest alumni Albin Jonsson, who also helped write the song. Staging was kind of very mystified. I love the guy behind in the dark box, kind of hiding a bit ghost-like. Lots of heavy smoke, microphone woven with flowers, and Lovad described the song as a breakup song and enabling her to feel whole again. There you go. There's another picture of Lovad while we're talking about it. Let's go and find out what our panelists felt about this song, and was it robbed? Because for me, I felt this was a fantastic entry, and so many ballads have failed this year in Melfest. Let's going to go over to our other Swedish panelist. As always, it's Gustav from Sweden, Stockholm calling. Hello, Gustav. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm a little bit more excited than I was last week. So that's.
Is that because I'm on? Is that the reason?
It's always that.
Oh, must be still my beating heart. Tell us about this song.
This song is probably one of the most current songs in the whole competition this year, because every female Swedish singer that sings songs in Swedish have that exact sound. So I was sure that this would do much better than it actually did, because these kind of songs are doing so well in Sweden right now, and I think that Lovad will be doing very well on the charts. I think it's a lovely song. I loved it, but literally no one is surprised that I love that song, I guess. And I loved the guy dancing in the cafeteria. Poor guy.
Yeah, he was probably in the cafeteria. I wasn't sure whether he was in a cafeteria. It was Oscar Hillstead from 2019, because he's probably still trapped in his box singing his Love It song. Anyway, moving on. Let's go to Jeanette next. Thank you, Gustav. What went wrong for Lovad last night? Because for me, it felt like a really modern, contemporary song, and just didn't work for the viewers.
I'm afraid to say something, because I can't even remember the song. It was really bad. The best part of it was the guy standing in the background. Something to look at. I didn't even like the flowers around her microphone. She was cute, a bit much of the spray tan perhaps. Should have done that a few days earlier. But the song gave me absolutely nothing. Nothing. Went from here to here, and another 3 minutes wasted of my life. That's all I have to say. Sorry.
Well, you to be fair, Jeanette, your points are in keeping with the way Sweden scored last night. So, but I guess everyone has their own favourites, right? Moving on to Marius now. Cyprus calling again. Marius,
Sorry, I had a bit of a connection problem.
You had some issues, yeah, we noticed. But I'm glad you're back now. Tell us about Lovad last night and what went wrong. What could she have done differently to maybe have moved up the scoreboard?
Well, first of all, I love Jeanette, but I have to disagree with you because no cat fighting tonight. Basically, when we were having the chat last night during the show, when the third or fourth song came up, I was still thinking of that second song, this one, and it was actually, it just got me quick. And the first half minute, I was just taken, and I thought, this is very nice. I didn't like the dancer, contrary to Jeanette loving him. The flowers were awful, but she gave me a bit of Demi Lovato. Her face,
Definitely.
she had that kind of look. Beautiful voice. And you see, I love Swedish. The language just does something to me. And I always wanted to find a Swedish boyfriend, but that never happened. But then again, so I think that this song should have actually at least had the chance to go to Andra Chansen. And I'm sad. Sorry, I didn't pronounce that right. I think it deserved to go forward. I'm not drunk tonight, by the way. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's orange juice.
I'm going to come to Elliot quickly on this. Elliot, good to have you on the show this evening. Good to see you. And congratulations for your interview with Blind Channel, which is available on our YouTube channel. It's really, really great interview. Go and check it out.
Thank you.
What went wrong for Lovad last night?
I think it was just a mixture of things. It's someone new, like I've never heard of her in Swedish, in the Swedish realms at all. She's singing a ballad in slot number 2. She is... there's nothing really happening. Like, you're saying a lot of ballads have fallen. The issue is that a lot of these ballads haven't been sold or staged correctly. There's not a lot happening, and that's what happened with Natalie. You know, like I said, there was smoke, there was flowers. The most impressive part was the dancer, because it's something different than your typical ballad in Melodifestivalen or Eurovision. There's something going on. But yeah, that's the problem. I was so focused on the dancer and her sort of like mirroring it and connecting it, I didn't really process what the song was. And the song sounds lovely, and the translation is Everything We Promised or something along those lines. So it sounds like it's a beautiful song. But as someone who didn't speak Swedish, I understand that. It got lost on me, and I think that was the issue. It just kind of went over your head. And plus, it went after the song we're about to talk about next, and I think that kind of like just stole its thunder slightly.
Thank you, Elliot. I have to say, though, this will be one of the songs I go back and listen to. I can understand why people don't like it, but I personally did love it. And I love the Demi Lovato reference, Marius. I think that was a really, really good one. Beautifully sung, beautifully staged. Tom, what are your thoughts on this, and what are the chat room saying?
Well, let's be honest. There's been the song wasn't really for me. I must admit I can't remember it. There was nothing happening with the song, but then we have got that Lovad's performance was the best performance of last night. Song and voice deserved a second chance. My personal take: it was not the most memorable song of the night. I could sum it up in 3 words. It would be the same word repeated over and over again, Stuart. But you know, this is a polite show, and I'm saving that critique for another song later on. So we're gonna just move on and say bad luck, better luck next time. She was unlucky. I think if she'd have been sandwiched between 2 other songs, she might have stood more of a chance. This was just lost in the crowd.
You know, it's funny. Every time we do this national final preview and review every year on ESC Fan TV, there's always a certain artist that actually you've never heard of before, but you end up loving. This for me will be the artist, Lovad. I will be streaming her music, a bit like Hazel from Blast Mafia featuring Hazel on Melody Grand Prix. Very, very similar. All of a sudden you kind of discover these new talents, and that's what Eurovision is all about. That's why we love it. So thank you, Sweden, for giving us such quality. Okay, we are going to move on now. We're going to move on to another Melodifestivalen alumni. She's back. It's Tess Merkel. Tess last night bringing us Good Life. She's best known, of course, everybody knows Tess Merkel for 1/3 of Alcazar, or 1/4 when Magnus was a part of the team. This is the first time she's competed as a solo artist in Melodifestivalen, and her song Good Life kind of gives me Donna Summer and Kylie vibes. I didn't really get a lot of Alcazar from this last night. I don't know what my panel will think. We'll speak to them in a minute. Specifically, the song lyric, I feel love, definitely gave me Donna Summer vibes. Talking about the good life. Right, let's go and say good evening to Steve. Let's bring you in, Steve. Over the years, hey Steve, look, you and I have been to Melodifestivalen together, and we've seen Alcazar perform Alcazar on live on stage. And back in the day when Alcazar was so huge, they were almost a given they'd make the final. But since they've broken up, or since each of the artists have decided to go their own way, do kind of solo stuff, they've in general struggled to do so well. Was that another example last night of it working as a group and maybe not working as a solo artist?
I think possibly it was. I mean, I quite like the song. It's very poppy. I felt it was a bit like Alcazar, actually. Didn't sound like Donna Summer to me at all, but the I Feel Love reference, yeah, definitely there. I did think she looked like a kind of a PVC version of Barbarella, though. And I'm worried about the vocals as well, because I think it was very heavy in the backing. And I think that kind of came over quite strongly, that perhaps she may not have the strongest voice. And there was a lot of backing there. And I felt it reached the right position. I thought it could have got into Andra Chansen, but I think it's probably 5th place was the right outcome for it. I thought she looked a bit scary as well, but that's just probably me.
Well, I don't know what you might be referencing. I have to say, this PVC outfit,
That's what I'm referencing.
I do feel like we've seen this before. I'm going to refer back to a UK national final some time ago. I'm sure that was very much in vogue back in the early 2000s. But anyway, we've seen.
And we were in the crowd then, weren't we, Stuart?
We were, yeah. I was in the second row, yeah. And a certain Javine decides to lose her dress at one point as well. So anyway, enough about that. Let's go back to Elliot for a second on this. Elliot, was this a bit too Melfest by numbers? Was this a bit too Melfest painted by numbers? Kind of heard this stuff before. Last year and the year before, we've had Jessica Anderson kind of do party voice, which felt very similar to me. Is that what went wrong?
No, because like I said last week with Charlotte Pirelli going through, this is your typical Schlager diva song which advances straight to the final. You had it with Charlotte, you had it with Lena Headland. She was like going on names, the guaranteed Andra Chansen. She should have been 3rd behind the 2 obvious qualifiers. But last night, that performance was dire. And I remember saying to Gustav, like, oh, she actually sounds okay. And then he said to me, in the recap, listen to her vocal. And yeah, outside of the chorus, she is flat as my chest. Oh my God. Couldn't sing. Like, what was she wearing? I think that might be worse than what Clara Hammerström was wearing last week. And that is a big, big, big bar to hit. Like, and yeah, she just looked like, I don't know. I don't want to sound too, which was worse. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I felt like she was trying too hard. And if I want to be really blunt, it felt a lot like Mutton dressed as lamb. Like with the long braid and everything, and then the dances in the big hats and the vine. Oh, it was all just a bit tacky, and the song itself wasn't strong enough to distract from that. I liked the lighting though. That was quite cool, so I'll give her that. Because, the staging directors have won Melfest the last 4 years. So at least the staging was on point, but she wasn't. And I think Sweden is maybe getting a little tired of these old Schlager divas. Because we said Jessica fell, now Tess has. Maybe it's time we stop bringing them back, as harsh as that sounds.
Well, I guess it's about variety, isn't it? Some of the Swedish people love it because it didn't come last. There were some songs that maybe should have done better last night. Let's move on to Elena. Elena, welcome to the show. Elena from Belgium.
Thank you.
So I'm going to start with this one for you tonight, Elena. What did you make of this particular song, and why do you think it failed to make the top 4?
Okay, it didn't go through because she looks like a scary Barbie doll. Like, I'm gonna have nightmares from her. And the only good thing I can say is that it was a good opener. That's it. Like, the rest is terrible. Like, terrible. Scary Barbie doll. You could put that.
Thanks, Alina. Thanks for that. Marius, let's maybe bring this back to the actual song itself. And what could we maybe have done differently with the song and the staging to have elevated this to a potential top 4?
They should have changed everything about the staging. She looked like Miss Cracker or Aquaria from RuPaul's Drag Race. Basically, it wasn't a bad song. I mean, I actually kind of liked it a bit. But the reference to Charlotte Pirelli, I think she should give up already. I mean, that song is just dreadful. And as Elliot said, I mean, I think they're getting tired of these sounds, and it's time to go to something different. I thought it would go through last night, like to the Andra Chansen, but I was shocked that it didn't. But I mean, the backing vocalist and dancers, I even said that it was like the female version of the dancers of the Roop in the discotheque, but less mental. But it was a song that really didn't stand out, and I think she didn't have a chance.
Thank you, Marius. Look, I think we've totally destroyed this song, but do you know what? I think we must have panelists who like this. I'm going to try Alice. Alice, let's bring you in. Was this a song that you could get behind, and what did you think of it?
As my personal prediction, I put the Mamas and Tess through as my DTF act. So I actually really enjoyed this song and the entire performance. I was just like, this is kind of really good. And the comments I wrote down here were pop, schlager, bop, very modern. So I really enjoyed it. I'm not, I don't see what you guys are all seeing.
I don't either. I could never be cruel to Tess Merkel. She and her brothers and sisters on Alcazar have given me far too many happy memories over time. So I could never say a bad word about it. You guys did it for me. Thank you for that. Right, we're going to move on now to the first Andra Chansen qualifier. It's a debutant again in Melfest. It's Ephraim Leo, I've probably mispronounced that, with the song Best of Me, and he was one of the co-writers. Up-and-coming singer, I've released a number of singles over the last year or two. Best of Me, for me, sounds a bit like a cross between a Harry Styles and a One Direction entry. Very radio-friendly modern pop. I have to say, I love the use of white and black as a backdrop. Nobody does it as much as they should. It really does work ever so well. Let's see what our panel think of this one. I do love that pose, by the way. It does kind of look like, why am I here, doesn't he? Right, modern pop from Efraim Leo. Let's go to Alina again, actually. Let's start with Alina.
Yeah.
What did you make of this?
Well, if Eric Saade wasn't in the show, this would be my favorite. Let me just say that. Like, I knew from the start that he wouldn't go to the final because we all knew it was going to be the Mamas and Eric Saade. So I'm very happy he's in Andra Chansen.
Thank you very much, Alina. Let's go to Steve. Steve, he kind of looked really comfortable on stage. When you see some debutants, we saw it with Cadiato in semi-final 1, just didn't quite work, and probably the fear of nerves. But he looked really comfortable on stage, and this is a very quirky modern pop song. This just works, didn't it?
I loved it. I thought it was, at first I thought it would be between the three of them to go through to the final, and then I thought, once I'd seen all the acts, I thought, it's clearly going to be Eric and the Mamas. But I think this is probably the best of all the Andra Chansen songs left. And I don't know what all the jewels are, but I would be very surprised if this doesn't get to the final. I thought it was nicely staged. I thought he sang it well. As you say, it's radio friendly. I like this, and I think it should be in the final.
Thank you, Steve. I'm going to go to Elliot next. Elliot, so Steve quite rightly mentioned that this comes up against Clara Klingenstrom next week and in the Andra Chansen. Maybe we'll have time to just cover off the Andra Chansen duels later on. Can you see the Swedes voting for Ephraim or Maria the Robot?
I mean, for me personally, that duel is, do I want a brick dropped to my left foot or my right? But I can see this getting through, because how many times have we seen a young, cute boy singing a pop song get through Andra Chansen? That being said, this was dead last to me last night. It was terrible. He looked terrified. You could see the 1,000 large eyes there in his eyes. I can't even speak. It was that bad. He was flat. The backing dancers with the 2 mic stands without microphones on them. Why? And there was nothing new or special about this. He sounds like Shawn Mendes. The song was your typical twink with a pop song. There was nothing special about this song, and he did nothing to elevate it. He looked terrified. He sounded flat, and he clearly came third looking at the jewels. So there just must be a lot of teenage fangirls and mothers thinking, oh, he looks like a nice young lad, who voted him through, because I don't see how this got through. I was fully convinced that was gone in the first round of voting. So the fact I'm probably going to see this in the final, it's my toilet break song for the jewels and the final, basically. I did not like this at all. Sorry, Ephraim. He looked terrified and sounded awful.
So I thought this was pretty bloody good, actually. I quite enjoyed it. And I thought, and in comparison to some of the songs in last night's semi-final, I thought it was up there. And sadly, Mel can't be with us tonight, but she would also agree. Someone who is with us for the very first time is Alice. Alice, what did you make of this? And how do you think it will go when it comes up against Clara Klingenstrom next Saturday night?
Well, personally, it wasn't one of my 4 to go through to the next rounds, but I will say it was a very good song, but it wasn't for me. And as to how I think it will go against Clara, Clara all the way. I really liked her song. It was, I thought it should have gone, I really agree that where it went is where it should go. And I can't wait to see her beat Ephraim Leo. Unfortunate for him, and I can't wait.
Thank you very much. Guys, we're nearly halfway through. In fact, we might even be halfway through. Make sure you're voting on menti.com. Use the code at the bottom of the screen. Vote for who you think should have gone through last night. We'll put it up on screen at the end. Tom, I'm just going to quickly come to you regarding the chat room. How's it going in the chat room? How are our chatters?
Oh, we've got a few comments in the chat room. I have to say, I loved the comment from Little John about Ephraim. Slightly harsh, maybe. Did he come off the set of EastEnders? British soap. But I have to say, Neil has a very good insight into some of Elliot's comments this evening. I knew Elliot wouldn't like this. And also, in a reassuring fame, we got, don't worry, Elliot, if he makes the final, he won't trouble the scorers. There we go. A bit of a mixed bag, really, on Ephraim. People saying they enjoyed it, people saying it grew on them, and then people just quite ambivalent, really. But keep your comments coming, guys. Keep the conversation going. Obviously, 3 songs left.
Exactly.
And 2 massive ones, I suspect, as well.
And if you like what you're seeing tonight, and why wouldn't you? Because everyone's been on fire with complete brutality this evening. I feel like there's been a robbery on ESC Fan TV. Make sure you're voting with your feet and click that like button, or dislike if you think we're talking absolute tosh. That's fine too. Leave us a nice comment or a bad comment. Say nice things or nasty things about me and Tom, especially Elliot. He loves nasty things. And make sure that you ding a dong our bell. Do you know why that is? Because we tell you when we go live, and you wouldn't want to miss anything on ESC Fan TV. Right, the last Andra Chansen is Clara Klingenstrom with the song, bring it in, Gustav, because I'm not even going to pronounce this. Gustav, give us the pronunciation.
Behöver inte, idag.
Behöver inte, idag. There you go. Clara makes her Melodifestivalen debut, as many others have. She released her first single last year. This is co-written by Melodifestivalen and Eurovision legend Bobby Lundgren. Song is about revenge. And last night we saw her on stage with the guitar absolutely attacking this. I love it when an artist attacks a song. People that watch me on ESC Fan TV will know that by now. I found this very, very similar to an Anna Bergendahl mixed with a bit of Taylor Swift. That's probably why I liked it, actually. I thought it was excellent. But let's go to Gustav, seeing as he gave us that wonderful pronunciation. I've got a feeling that this is right up your street.
I don't even know where to start because I love this song so much. It's like if all my favorite Swedish female singers got together and had a love child, that would be this song. I couldn't do anything. From the first second I heard it, I was like, yep, this is my favorite of all the 28 songs, and it's going to stay that way for a very long time. It was so simple, and I really enjoyed that it was so simple, because she was just being herself for 3 minutes on the stage, and that was great. But then I know one person on this panel that doesn't love this song, and I'm not even sure he's human, so I'm not going to listen to a word that he has to say.
You're not going to him, so it's fine. He won't get a chance to comment. Marius, when you think of these two songs that the one we just talked about, and Clara's, which one do you think finished higher? Do you think this was third or fourth?
I'm going to go for Clara, actually. I don't know how Ephraim made it, to be honest. The most annoying song, really, apart from, what is the other one? Service Included, whatever that was.
All inclusive.
All inclusive.
Service Included is a completely different concept altogether.
Yes. I have to say that I absolutely love this song. I mean, she's wacky. I loved her presence. I think she should ditch the guitar. It's distracting because she's such a personality. She gives such positive energy when you watch her. And I just say, get rid of the guitar. Let's focus on you. The song is nice. I really, really think this could surprise, and it's her first time at Melfest, and they need something different, something fresh, and she delivered. I have to say, she really, really delivered last night.
Yeah, she really did. And I found the staging so simple, but so well put together and performed. I really did. I just felt it really worked. Bringing in Steve now. Steve, this felt a bit like a throwback to Melfest through the years, but delivered so well. Is there an argument to be said that when she comes up against Ava and Ava in the Andra Chansen next Saturday, this could be the big upset, given that everyone is expecting Ramadama Ding Dong, or what the heck it's called, to go through?
I think it could be quite close in that duel. I think everybody's expecting the two grannies to get through, though. But I think it's a nice song, and I think she's got a kind of a bit of an indie look about her. I liked the guitar and the simple staging. I liked all of that. It's not really an indie song, though, is it? It's a kind of it does have kind of Schlager elements to it, and that kind of, the bridge, the chorus, and everything kind of going up a level. It's typical Schlager in many respects, but delivered in a slightly more modern way. I really like this. I think it probably came fourth in the actual. I think Ephraim Leo, in my view, very clearly got third. And I think this has a chance to go through, but I think there'll be a very close battle between those two. And everybody loves those grannies, don't they?
They
Except
do.
Jeanette.
Yeah. I don't know if Jeanette likes the grannies or not, actually. However, someone who does love the grannies and probably isn't going to be terribly positive about this song's chances next Saturday is my co-host Tom. Tom, I know you're absolutely bigging up Ramadama Ding Dong, aren't you?
Well, of course it is. I mean, let's face it, Rama Ding Dong should get through. It deserves to get through. Do you know what I have? I've extended an olive branch to Gustav this evening, because whilst this show has been on, I've been listening to the song again just to kind of try and reevaluate my opinion. And
that means you never listened to it in the first place.
Oh, I did listen to it. Oh, I did listen to it in the first place, and I still maintain that I found the first 10 seconds of it so boring. It reminds me actually of some of those films you get on those life-affirming American teenage angsty film things that you see, and it gets played at the end as the soundtrack as they ride off into the sunset and everyone's learned a lesson and things like that, which basically means there's nothing original about it. And it's just, I'm sorry. The most interesting thing about this song is her pink hair. There we go. I've said it. And I'm looking forward to the two grannies getting through next week.
Can we start a new hashtag off? I think is Tom's music taste always wrong? Because I think you've clearly missed the mark here, Tom.
Oh, I've
Clearly
totally missed.
the mark.
Oh, I'm totally missed the mark here because the chat room agrees with Gustav.
Oh, do
I
they?
mean, people
Loving
have
the
gone.
chatters tonight. There you
I
go.
really loved this. It should have gone through. Neil says, "I'm pleased you made AC. It may not get any further, but it's a good first effort. Could have been directly in the final, but opponents were strong."
Yep.
Oh, this one said it was fair. Oh no, sorry, that was me.
That's you. Stop putting your own comments up, Tom. Get out of the chat room. You're supposed to be chatting on here.
And apparently, me and Gustav should both do cheesy heart signs. There we go. No.
What to
Oh,
each
look,
other?
he's not even joining in. Look, the olive branch gets extended.
I feel like this channel's turning into like the Tinder of the Eurovision world. In a minute, you'll be swiping left. Anyway, let's move on. We are now hitting. Sorry, it's not Tinder, is it? That's another one. Anyway, never mind. I was close enough. We're going to start with the finalists of Melodifestivalen semi-final 4, and we start with a returnee. Oh yes, he's back. It's Eric Saade with Every Minute, and this song is co-written by himself with Linnea and Joy Deb and Jimmy Joker Thornfeld. This is Eric's 4th foray into Melodifestivalen. He last competed back in 2015 with the song Sting, which I thought was pretty rubbish, to be perfectly honest. But there we go, just my taste. Dark electro pop from Saade. I mean, this kind of, I thought the choreography on this was pure art, but I'm sure there are those out there that disliked it immensely. I'm sure we get some different views from our panel. I'm sure everyone will agree, though. It's great to see. There you go, Return of the King. That was almost what I was going to say word for word. Thank you, Lauren Macy. Let's start with Jeanette, because I know that Jeanette has a not-so-secret crush on Eric Saade.
Oops. Yeah, I don't know where to start, but I have to say this was 3 minutes of pure orgasm for me. It was delicious, lovely. I could just do it over and over and over again. And I know Elena is agreeing with me. This was fantastic. I loved everything about it except the sweater, maybe. But it's so different from what he's done before, which has been, Man Boy, Popular, which was advanced staging. This was naked. He was showing his soul for us for the first time. And I think the whole setting was playing with his inner demons. With the character, he's being dressed in white, and we had the guy in the background who was the demon. And I think it was about his relationship with Nicole, because he was engaged and was going to be married, but he broke up the engagement. And I think he meant like maybe the sex was great, but not the relationship. That's what I think. And he's moved on, has a new love, but the song, come on, Sweden needs to send this to Eurovision. And if we do, I think we could win. And that's perfect. And he was handpicked by Christer Björkman. I could just go on and on and on about this song. I can't get enough of it. Just listen to it. And the more you listen to it and see it, you just see his facial expressions. It does do it for me.
We can tell. Thank you, Jeanette. That was very well put. Beautifully put, in fact. Let's move on to Elena, because you referenced Elena, and let's find out what she thinks, because she's been talking about Eric Saade as a potential winner of Melodifestivalen since week 1. Elena,
Yes.
Did this meet your expectation?
Oh boy, I have my party hats on because we have found the winner of Melodifestivalen and Eurovision. We're going to Sweden, like perfection. But I have a few things to say, and they're not so good actually. But we all know I love Eric Saade. He's the reason I discovered Sweden. I learned Swedish. Like everything is good. I like him a lot. But like there were a few mistakes in the performance. Like there was a camera in the background that I think should not be in the background. The cameraman, his reflection was on the, how do you say it, on the sweater. It annoyed me so much. But for the rest, I mean, it's a wonderful song. It's so Eric Saade. The dancing is so Eric Saade. It's like, it's perfection. Otherwise, like, I have found the winner.
Yeah,
Or maybe I
Yes.
should give him 3 points when he goes to Eurovision to have a payback from 2010. No, I'm not going to do that.
Belgium have spoken. I'm not going to mess with Alina on this one. We'll go with that. We'll go with that at least for a week at least. Let's go to Gustav next. Get another Swede's perspective. So Saade is bragging about how horny he is. Gustav, did he make you horny for more?
The thing is that I was totally distracted by my love for Clara when he started performing, so I did not pay much
Nice
attention.
swerve.
I did not pay much attention to his song or his performance. I actually had to go back and watch it again when the show was finished because I was like, I have no idea what he did. I like the song and I like the performance, but he got outstaged by Clara, and that says something since Eric is one of the sexiest men in Sweden. I didn't watch him even though he's that, just because of Clara. So I don't know.
Thank you, Gustav. Go and watch it. You got an absolute treat. Let's go over to Elliot. Elliot, do you know what I thought about last night? The thing that went through my mind as I was watching the performance was Danny Salcedo. He made two different remarks, or not different remarks, kind of things that were happening in reference to Eric Saade in his performance. Why was there no reply from Eric last night?
I don't think the song quite fit that. It would have been funny. So maybe he'll do that in the final. Firstly,
was he singing
yeah,
about Danny? Was he singing about
Maybe.
Danny? Is that what the
There's
love
an image.
is all
There's
about?
an image I don't want, Stuart. There's an image I don't need. Moving on. Eric Saade's made history. He's the first man to go to the final 4 times in his first 4 attempts. The only other person to do that is Mariette, as we found out last year talking to Gustav. The song is very commercial, and I do think in a year of big misses for the big Swedish songwriters like Jimmy Jonsson and Joy Linnéa-Deb, this is a real success for them, because that sound, especially that hook with the na na na, that sort of like baritone voice is used in every pop song this side of Europe and the States. So massive commercial appeal, and it's going to do well regardless. It could be a winner. I'm not saying it is, and I'm not saying it's a dead cert to win. I do think it is fighting out with Tusse for the win, and it's going to be very interesting to see how those two go against each other. It'll be very close, like the Mamas and Dotter, I think, because both songs appeal to different markets. He could win. I don't want this to win. There is something lacking in this for me. I didn't quite get the staging. It all felt a bit too high concept and high art for me, but it's better than Sting when he was flying around on like a thing in the top of the arena, because that was just stupid. And there's no waterfall on this time like in Man Boy. It's nice to see Eric back. I'm not surprised he was directly asked by Christer Bjorkman because he's hosted the show. He's done a very similar thing to Mons. He's gone away for a few years. He's come back. He's done TV, and now he's competing again. He could win. I won't be shocked if he does. I just don't think it's the right song for Sweden to send this year. But I think he'll be very close. If he doesn't win, he'll be in the top 3, marginally just behind the winner.
Thanks, Elliot. I find myself agreeing with you. Except for one point. You've missed Danny Salcedo, who's going to win the whole thing by some distance. Anyway, final panelist of this evening, I was going to get her point, is Alice. Alice, for you, is this a potential winner of Melodifestivalen?
Personally, I didn't even rank it getting through, but I knew it would because everyone loves Eric Saade. And yeah, it's a great song. The staging was really conceptual and it's very, very well produced and perfect. So it is going for the win. And they said he got hand selected by Krista, and he wants to go back. And then there's his previous Eurovision thing. People want payback for that. So yeah, I'd slate him as a potential winner for Melfest.
Thank you, Alice. And finally, Tom, what are the chat rooms saying?
Well, let's be honest, Steve, there's lots and lots of love for Eric in here, quite rightly so. Neil does point out that, you know, in terms of our two finalists, they were going direct to the final when the first semi-finals were first announced. But Neil says that Eric looks good in cricket whites. Yes, he does look like he's about to go and bat for Australia. I like the song. Eric Saade was amazing. He deserved the final. David says one of the best performers. The stage was simple but perfect. Adam says the staging is better than the studio version. Really like the song overall. David says potential winner of Melfest, yes. Eurovision, no. And then someone said, yes, it screams another third place, which is interesting. And then we've also got, you know, I think this lifts Swedish production to a new level. So do you know what? All really positive and all very well deserved. Current discussion in the chat room seems to be about how many songs are going to be fighting it out in the final.
Yeah, exactly. Hold that thought, though, because we'll be doing a Melfest preview a week Friday, which we'll get into all of that. And I think I'd like to get into who has the best production of the finalists, because I genuinely do think Danny Salcedo and Eric Saade have the best production by some distance. So I think it'd be very interesting to see how they both do in the final. We're going to move on to the final song of tonight's semi-final. It's, of course, last year's winners, the Mamas. They are back with In the Middle, written by another Eurovision and Melfest alumni. It's Robin Schoenberg. He's written the song, along with Yumi Jonsson and one or two others. 2021 is the Mamas' third appearance in Melfest, of course, in a row. The first being backing singers and dancers for John Lundvik. And then last year, of course, they won with Mover, but were sadly not able to go to Eurovision. And everyone was so upset about that because they could have been a potential winner for Sweden last year. Uplifting, gospel-inspired pop. You know, I think you made the right point there, Tom. You know, who didn't expect both of these songs to go to the final the moment these semi-finals were announced? It was so obvious. Steve, let's start with you on this. Mamas Move versus Mamas in the Middle. Where did the two songs rank for you, and what did you think?
Well, I didn't pick the Mamas to win last year. I much prefer Dotter's song, but it's very similar to last year's song. I think it is a bit of a one trick pony in a sense, or they are a bit of a one trick pony, but they have great voices and great harmonies, and you can't help but love them. I think it's going to do well. I don't think it's going to finish in the same way. I mean, I agree with Elliot that the fight for the first place is probably between Tusa and Eric, but I think the fight for third and fourth place is probably with Dotter and the Mamas, and I think Dotter would probably win out on that one in my view. So I think these are very much they would be the emotional winners, I think, of this Melfest, because everybody knows that they couldn't unfortunately go last year, but they need some styling advice because black is a better colour for them to wear, and I'll leave it at that, because I think it's very obvious that they didn't look good on stage, and they need to.
Thank you, Steve. We're going to go to Gustav. Gustav, we've seen across a number of national finals now where artists that won last year that weren't able to go have done particularly well, with the exception of Finland a week or so ago. Could we see, from a Swede's perspective, so much goodwill in the Mamas that just takes them through to winning the whole competition and returning as the Swedish representative this year?
I pray to the gay gods that we won't see them winning, because this is so boring. I really didn't like Move, and I like this song even less. It was just boring.
Thank you, Gustav. Same question to Jeanette, because I've got to think, based on Jeanette's facial expressions, I feel that you may get a different answer.
Well, I think it was okay, but it was a lot weaker than last year, and the outfits gotta go. I just say black is so much better, and it's not as catchy. as last year, so I don't think they're gonna win. I think they're gonna end up maybe third place in the final, because Dotto might be the second one, and Saade will win, of course, and Danny fourth. That's just what I predict. They are good voices. They can sing, but not good enough for the victory this year.
So I've just got a question for both Gustav and Jeanette before we move on to other guests. If the Mamas hadn't won last year, do you think we'd be talking about this as a potential winner, or do we think that this would be a kind of like bottom 3 or 4 song in this final, given the strength of the other entries?
Yeah, it's not a winner.
Same to Gustav. Sorry, I should have said who I'm going to first. Thank you, Jeanette. Gustav, what's your view?
No, this would have been bottom material for sure. I still think it is.
Interesting. But something tells me they're going to be up there. Elliot, what is your thoughts on this?
I think this biggest pitfall for the Mamas is that the fact there is no audience this year. Because when you watch Move and in the middle, they feed off a live arena. And you can see it. You can see Ashley, the central short one, the American, she feeds and lives off an arena and she's living for it and Move. I didn't get that last night. The song is sweet. It's a nice little gospel ballad. That's fine. Yeah, I didn't like the magician trick where they started in the black and changed into the gold because the gold looks tacky. They look like they're they look like 3 drag queens cosplaying as the Dream Girls. I'm going to be blunt. Didn't do them any favours. It's lacking something. And I feel like if this wasn't the Mamas we were talking about and this was their debut entry, I'm not convinced that this would have gone directly through, to be honest. By principle, yes, they should win. They should get this right to compete at Eurovision, as everyone should who missed out last year. The song, however, is not good enough, and I don't even think it's going to be top 4. I think this could be a real shock and fall, because you've got to remember that jury vote is going to be very tough, and there are better songs for a jury perspective. And how many people are going to go, oh, let's send the Mamas again? I'm not convinced. So, not a bad song. The vocals are great, as always, but it's lacking too much to be a winner. I'm not even touting this as a contender. It's probably going to get 5th at a push, I feel like.
I think that's an interesting point. Personally, I don't think this is as good as Move last year. I don't think it quite has the same momentum going into this final. Alice, how does it compare with Move for you? And do you see this as a contender? Are we being unfair on this entry? And could this still go and win for Melfest in a couple of weeks' time?
Move was my Eurovision 2020 winner. If the contest had gone ahead, I would have said they'd sail away with the win. And this year they have come up with another good entry. It might not be as good as Move to some people, but I think it is a great follow-up to that because they can perform, they're great singers, and the whole vibe they give off is great. I do agree with the fact that because there's no audience, they're not as good, and they do, come off with an audience a lot better. And I really hope they do win because they didn't get the chance to go last year, they really deserve to do it this year. And hopefully they do.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? There's so much goodwill on these artists that didn't qualify last year or didn't get to go to Eurovision last year. It's really, really sad. You kind of want to see them on a Eurovision platform. Everyone deserves to win a national final and go to Eurovision. And to not go to Eurovision just feels really, really tough. Okay, we're going to have to find out. Tom, what are the chat rooms saying?
The chat room, I think, do kind of love the Mamas. Loved their song last year. Good quality, good vocals, but don't think it's winning. Some people, Little John, hated their song last year, but actually quite likes it this year. There's a lot of love for them. Neil agrees that the Mamas do need a live audience. I think this is a great song. Isn't it a great song? The chat room seem to like it. I like it. I think it's one of those songs, if you listen to the lyrics, especially when everyone is kind of suffering with all the lockdowns and things like this, I think there's real potential here. You are my sunshine in the open sky, moonlight on my darkest nights. The sky is brighter when you're here. The hope, the friendship, and everything like this. I would underrate this at your peril this year. because there are a lot of strong contenders out there. And the trouble is, when strong contenders are there and they're all fighting it out, something comes through from in the middle.
You've been rehearsing that, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Tom. And thanks to all of our panel this evening. Just one more thing to talk about. We have the little point of Andra Chansen next Saturday. Here are the 4 duels. We start with Alvaro Estrella versus Lilla Sister. Oh my God, I love Lilla Sister so much. Let's ask 2 or 3 of our panelists what they think. We're going to come to Elliot, I think, on this one. Just one word or one name. Alvaro versus Lilla Sister. Who's going through?
Lilla Sister.
Thank you, Elliot. Going to come to Marius. Alvaro or Lilla Sister?
Same one, Little Sister.
Lilla Sister. And then I think we must come to one of our Swedish panelists. Let's come to Jeanette. Which one?
Can I say neither?
Not floating your boat. Couldn't care less. Got it. Okay, next duel is Frida Green with The Silence versus Paul Ray's Missing Piece. Let's come to Elina. Which one of these 2 do you think is qualifying?
Paul Ray.
Paul Ray. Thank you very much. Alice.
Paul Ray.
Steve.
Paul Ray.
Paul Ray it is, but let's come to Gustav.
Paul Ray.
There you go. Paul Ray's qualifying. Ava and Awa with Reina Rama Ding Dong and Clara Klingenström with that song I can't pronounce. Elliot, who's qualifying from this one?
Oh, why you give me the 2 hardest duels to pick? Rima Ramadan, the grannies. I can't say the song title, but
Rima Rama Ding Dong.
Just. I think it will be close.
Okay, Marius.
River Dammit Dong.
I'm going to have to come to Gustav on this now because I think we need one for Clara at the very least.
Of course, Clara. I don't know what these people are talking about. Go away, shoo.
That's the interesting duel for me because it could go either way. And Jeanette, sorry, but what's your view on this one?
Well, unfortunately, I think the Grannies is going to go through.
Yeah, I think possibly too. Okay, final one. Clara Hammerstrom, Beat of Broken Hearts versus Ephraim Leo, Best of Me. Steve, who's qualifying?
Ephraim Leo, easily.
Thank you. Elina?
Ephraim.
And Alice?
Clara all the way.
Clara all the way. Gustav?
Clara.
And Jeanette, finally.
Ephraim, of course.
And sorry, Tom, I haven't asked you at all, but that's deliberate.
You haven't asked me any.
That's deliberate.
poor Tom.
Because we get to talk about it next Sunday.
But
what I
when
will
the
ask
results
you,
are known.
Who is your favourite of those 8?
Do you need to ask?
No, that's why I didn't bother.
Rema Rama Ding Dong is my absolute favourite, although I will also say I do have a lot of love for sorry, Gustav, Clara, not that Clara, the other Clara, the Beat of Broken Hearts, because I think that's a great song, and I think Ephraim's going to have a struggle to get through that. Andra Chansen, I think she will, especially across the age groups. I think she's going to get a lot of support.
Yeah, I agree. So, you guys in the chat room have been voting for who you felt should have qualified, and we're now going to find out whether the results matched our viewers. And you have gone for Eric Saade and the Mummers. There you go. Poor old Tess, right at the bottom of the pack, with beaten by Sannex. Oh dear.
Disaster.
It's a bit of a disaster. Yeah, obviously didn't quite work. Never mind. You know, I mean, what can be said if you're beaten by a bottle of soap? Right, that is Melodifestivalen semi-final 4 done. Tom, what have we got coming up?
Coming up, Stu, obviously next weekend it's a Super Saturday, so we need to fit in at least one preview, and you can come to us on Wednesday night for that one. Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central European time, and we're going to be previewing all the Danish entries in DMGP this year. Looks like there's a fantastic selection there. In the meantime, though, guys, don't forget, keep the conversation going across all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram. You'll find us and the panelists all on there, willing to have a natter as well.
And I've got something very special to announce. That we've just agreed that we are going to go live Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central European time, 1 hour before we talk about Denmark, and Friday at the same time to talk about the two semi-finals or two nights of Sanremo in Italy. And then as a very special, God only knows what time of the morning of Sunday morning coming next weekend, we will be going live the moment Sanremo finishes, which I think might be 2 or 3 a.m. But who knows? If you want to check it out and you're still up, you can do. I'd expect no more than about 2 in the chat room. But hey, come and join us if you're still up and want to talk about the results, because usually there's some fun in Italy. And of course, next Sunday you can join us back here for more Melodifestivalen, but this time it'll all be about Andra Chansen. I'd like to say a massive thank you to my panel this evening, starting with Marius from Cyprus. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Thank you, Marius. Thank you to Elena from Belgium.
Bye-bye.
Thank you to Elliot.
Thanks, guys. This has been a lot of fun as always.
Thank you for joining us. Thanks to Steve.
Thanks. See you soon.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you to our phenomenal Swedish panelists. First off, it's Stockholm's favourite. It's Gustav.
Thank you, everyone. I'm off to stream Behöver, inte, idag, and you should do that too.
Yes, we're running all the way. And Jeanette, thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you. I'm off to listening to Eric Saade and have some private time with him.
Okay, moving on rather swiftly. Make sure your camera's off. And and finally, huge thanks to our ESC Fan TV debutant this evening. It's Alice. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been great to talk to you all. Hej då, Sverige.
Thank you, Alice. Guys, make sure you leave us comments on the YouTube video. Like or dislike, whichever, doesn't matter. Just do give us your thoughts. Let us know what you think. And we will be back here Wednesday for two live shows. We're looking forward to it. Tom, huge thank you. How the chat room? They all chatted out.
Chat room are chatted out, but fantastic show. Thanks to everyone that contributed in the chat room, and also Stu, big thanks to you for the hosting as well.
Thank you. I'm off to get a drink. My throat is killing me. We will see you Wednesday. 2 shows. Bye bye for now. Have a great week.